And welcome back. We are now seated comfortably in our nice warm tasting room here in the distillery. And it's still decorated beautifully for Christmas behind us here. And we're going to take an opportunity to do a tasting of these three spirits. This is the Roundstone Rye 80 proof, the Roundstone Rye 92 proof Distiller's Edition, and the Roundstone Rye Cask Proof, all three of which are now available in the UK. And as I walk through these tastings, I'll tell you a little bit about rye. I'm often asked, especially when I was in London, what is rye? They're not exactly sure. Rye is one of the classic American spirits, and most people, when they think of American spirits, they think simply of bourbon. Bourbon, of course, being made from corn, mostly, but also having components of rye, wheat, and barley in it. Whereas our rye is made from 100% rye, nothing else. And so it has a very unique flavor. People would ask me, well, does that make it taste more like Scotch or more like bourbon? And I say, well, really neither. It's really a new flavor entirely, like adding a new color to the spectrum of whiskey. So a new color that's actually, in fact, quite old. And so we have here, then, the 80 proof rye, our most popular spirit. This is a rye that is soft and buttery, and our most popular spirit because it's quite approachable both in price and in flavor. And I'll pour a small taste here. The first thing we do is look at the color. Beautiful sort of golden color. All natural from the barrel. We're not allowed to use any flavorings or colorings in our spirit. So it is simply the grain, the wood, the water, and the yeast that make this whiskey what it is. This one, we seek to achieve a distillate that is soft and buttery. It has this fruity, nutty texture. So we'll go ahead with the tasting here if I start. The first thing I get on the nose is citrus. That's a particular smell that I get, lemon rind, lemon peel, things like that. And then, of course, we get all the richness of the rye grain coming through, bread, toast, and things like that. And a little hint of butteriness and pepperiness, maybe a sugar cookie or something like that. So as I taste it, right away, the spicy character of rye comes through. I get the roundness of the fruit. Here I'm getting big, juicy oranges and citrus like lemon rind, that bitterness of the pith of the lemon. But also I'm getting stone fruit, cherry, and plum. A little bit of leather coming in right now. And then that spicy, peppery, kind of white pepper finish that tells me, yes, this is indeed a rye whiskey. All right. The next spirit we're going to taste is the Roundstone Rye Distiller's Edition 92 proof. This is a very special spirit. This year in America, 2020, this was named the 94 points by Wine Enthusiast in their top 100 spirits of 2020, and most recently in their top 30 whiskeys in America for 2020. This was the third highest rated rye whiskey in the category in the nation by that magazine. So we're very proud of that. A very nice rating, 94 points, fantastic score for a fantastic whiskey. This one comes to us when Becky will select from the barrels in her tasting process, barrels that exhibit more of a spicier nature. And here I'm talking about spices like clove and nutmeg, baking spices, cinnamon, things like that. We'll look at the color first, and we'll see this beautiful amber color, really pretty. A little shade darker than the Roundstone 80 proof. And we will now take a little sniff. Oh, much richer in nose. I'm getting deep layers of that rich caramel whiskey coming through. Almost starts to smell a bit like rum or something, it's just fantastic. Cherry, tobacco, lots of deep woody notes. Really, really beautiful. Some nice legs on the glass. So let's go ahead and take a taste. Oh, so much going on there. This whiskey is the house favorite. All of our staff on their shift drinks are enjoying this whiskey. It's a favorite of many of our friends who are bartenders and chefs in the area. Just a fantastic whiskey with a lot going on. I'm getting deep, rich fruit, stone fruit, red fruit, plums, cherries, cooked apple coming through in this, peaches even. getting just a hint of that white pepper finish that tells me, yes, indeed, this is rye whiskey. Beautifully integrated, rich round body, still getting flavor even now after the taste. Leather and tobacco shop. A little bit of paraffin even maybe coming in, like the smell of a fresh candle. Fantastic whiskey. Another one there. Now we'll move on to the next one here. The next whiskey is our cask proof whiskey. The cask proof whiskey here is bottled at whatever natural cask strength we have, which in this case is 58% ABV, so 116 proof if you're using the American terminology. This is batch number 20E13, bottle number 101 out of 125 in that batch. So these are 30-gallon batches, so about 125 bottles per batch. Quite small production, each one of these hand-numbered. We give it a pour, and the first thing we'll do again is analyze the color. And now we've progressed from amber hues and golden hues into full-on maple syrup hues. Really dark, rich, beautiful whiskey. Completely natural, that color. That's just whiskey, wood, and weather affecting that whiskey. So with this one, we have never diluted it with water down to bottle proof. It stays at the cask proof. So it's not just more alcohol, it's also more flavor, more whiskey, more wood, more everything. Everything is concentrated. So it's like a whiskey concentrate. So I'll take my first smell here. And it's overwhelming, the smell. All kinds of things hitting me all at once. Spices, all kinds of spices. And again, with notes of leather and saddle, tanned leather, tobacco shop. Like when you walk into a tobacco shop and the tobacco is unburnt, you know, that fresh, clean smell of a tobacco shop. Really beautiful. Getting some of the fruit smells and the citrus as well, but more subdued on this one. And a big pop of plum right on the start. So that fruitiness is really a unique characteristic of this Virginia rye. Much of the Midwestern rye you'll find taste much more vegetal, herbaceous, dill, mint, things like that, grass, fresh mown hay. But none of that shows up in this Virginia whiskey. We're getting much more of pecans and cherries and plums. This is just a fruit bomb right now coming at me. But also some nice leather notes and things like that coming through. Beautifully well integrated, not at all hot. For the 60% that it is actually quite dangerously drinkable. As I have been told by Becky many times in the past, I have to respect the juice. Too many of these cocktails and Scott has to go to bed for a while. So a very delicious and surprisingly smooth whiskey at 60% ABV. All three of these whiskeys come from the same new make. So when we make a distillate off the still, it's the same new make that goes into the barrels. And it's through barrel selection that we can select out these different flavors and provide consistency. All of our whiskey is non-chill filtered, single barrel whiskey. So to achieve the consistency that we desire, when Becky pulls samples from the barrel for bottling, she will assemble her team of employees around her, typically the women who have better palates and are more discerning in their taste of the whiskey. And they will decide when they taste the spirit, does this one taste round and soft and buttery? Then perhaps it should go into our 80 proof whiskey. Does it have that spiciness to it, that quality of clove and cinnamon and those kinds of things coming through, which are representative of a looser grain of wood, perhaps the Virginia wood having that influence on it? Then it should go into the 92 proof. Or is it absolutely perfect as is? Don't touch it. The harmony of the grain and the wood together make the whiskey perfect as is. Let's bottle it at cask strength. So that decision is made in the bottling process to get the uniformity across these three different products. That gives us something for everybody. The universal Roundstone Rye for the person who just wants something easy and affordable and very easy drinking, as Becky calls it, her front porch sipper, or the cask proof for the ultimate whiskey enthusiast who wants everything at cask strength. Don't touch it, don't add water to it. I'll add water if I want water in it. Or we have in the middle for the whiskey enthusiast, the bar enthusiast, the person who likes a little more whiskey showing up in their cocktail, the 92 proof Distillers Edition, our most awarded whiskey, that one right there in the middle. So something for everybody, and cheers.